Yes, very good.
Okay. Okay. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Um, we'll start with the verse 3:19:38, which is the last verse of this chapter. So, we'll start with the prayer and then we'll talk through the verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanatamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा. Okay, so this is the verse 3:19:38. Let me share my screen. So are you able to see this, the verse? Okay. Okay, so here is the verse. Etan maha punyam alam pavitram dhanyam yasasyam padam ayur asisam prananendriyanam yudhi shauryavardanam narayano ante gatir angashravantam shanvatam एतान्महापुण्यानलं पवित्रं धन्यं यशस्यं पदम् आयुरसीशं प्रणन्नेन्द्रियाणां युधीश्वर्यवर्धनं नारायणो अन्ते गतिरङ्गशृण्वताम्. So synonyms. Etat, this narrative. Mahapunyam, conferring great merit. Alam, very. Pavitram, sacred. Dhanyam, conferring wealth. Yasasyam, bearing fame. Padam, the receptacle. Ayu, for longevity. Asisam, of the object of one's desire. Prana, of the vital organs. Indriyanam, of the organs of action. Yudhi, on the field of battle. Shaurya, the strength. Vardhanam, increasing. Narayana, Lord Narayan. Ante, at the end of life. Gati, shelter. Anga, O dear Shonaka, Shanvatam, of those who listen. The translation by His Divine Grace S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the object of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the supreme abode of the Lord, O dear Shonaka. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Devotees are generally attracted by the narratives of the pastimes of the Lord. And even though they do not prosecute austerities or meditation, this very process of hearing attentively about the pastimes of the Lord will endow them with innumerable benefits such as wealth, fame, longevity, and other desirable aims of life. If one continues to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrative of the pastimes of the Lord, at the end of this life, one is sure to be transferred to the eternal transcendental abode of the Lord. Thus, hearers are benefited both ultimately and for as long as they are in the material world. That is the supreme sublime result of engaging in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is to spare some time and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended 5 items of devotional service, namely to serve the devotees of the Lord, to chant Hare Krishna, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to worship the deity of the Lord, and to live in a place of pilgrimage. Just performing these 5 activities can deliver one from the miserable condition of material life. Okay, so I'll try to speak whatever I could understand on this verse, and if there is anything good, it is on account of my Guru Maharaj. And in this case, actually, I heard Maharaj, His Holiness Romapad Maharaj's lecture as well, along with few others. And anything wrong that I misspeak, that is on account of me because of my poor understanding. So forgive me if that happens. So this is a very this is kind of the falshruti, or the normally whenever we hear a verse or something, at the end of it, if there is a poem, or if there is a big stanza or any big shloka, collection of shlokas, there is a falshruti or the final narrative uh, of the importance of the entire verse. So in this case, for this particular chapter, third canto, 19th chapter, this is the falshruti. Uh, so here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that how it happens, and he's saying what kind of benefits come in. Uh, for example, those who hear the stories or the pastimes of the Lord, they get not just material benefit but also spiritual benefit. Now, what he is saying is that material benefit and spiritual benefit both go hand in hand. It's like, and Maharaj was also speaking in one of the lectures that I heard, that it's like a shadow. So when you are in this process of listening about the pastimes of the Lord, spiritually you benefit, and then you're sure to be uh, transferred to the eternal transcendental abode of the Lord, as he's saying here in this word by word. So that is there, but at the same time, he's also saying that those who hear this, Lord will endow them with innumerable benefits such as wealth, fame, longevity, and other desirable aims of life. So he's saying, he's trying to say that the benefits are not just eternal, but also material. So as long as somebody is doing this material life, he gets the benefit. As long as they are in the material world, both benefit ultimately, are benefited both ultimately and as long as they're here. So sometimes, and Maharaj was asking this question, why does it happen that good people have to face bad consequences, or something bad happens to them, and bad people also have some good things coming in. So if reading so sorry. So in this context, somebody reading Bhagavatam, or thinking about the Lord's pastime and um, other places and everything else, uh, this is bringing in a perspective or a point that these are good people in this context. So good people are those who are doing these devotional activities, who are doing following all the regulative principles, and hearing about the Lord, thinking about the Lord, discussing about them. So those are good people. So they should naturally get benefits of doing those devotional activities. And by this, as a corollary, they should have everything good coming to them. But then our experience says that it's not always 1:1. That somebody who is doing all these things, devotional activities, will always have something good happening to them. Uh, and those who are not doing, they will have always bad things happening to them. So Maharaj explains that it's all, kar- karma, or the cycle of karma. Uh, we have heard in Nectar of Devotion and many other places how the cycle of karma operates. It's not just this kutam, bijam, and everything else. It's not just what we do now. It's a culmination of or collection of the entire, uh, cycles and cycles of birth and death and pastimes, or the lives that we have lived over millions of years. So we know of some examples like that. Somebody, uh, Bhishmadev, for example, right? He pricked a ant with a needle, and then and he was a Mahajan. So, and when he got all those bed full of arrows, thousands of arrows piercing through his body, and then he was going back, because he had so much power, right? He was going back life after life to see where did he do to suffer through all this, and then he could not. Finally, he asked Krishna. Krishna tells him that in one of those pastimes where we could not go, you had pricked a needle into an ant as a child while playing. So this is the result of that. This is just an example that that bad things or things which are unfavorable in direct perception, they also happen. And the same things which look very materially favorable, they also happen to non-devotees. And it's a result of karma and everything else. Uh, all the previous karmas and how they have been. Sometimes we are very lucky if you do something and you get immediate impact or effect of that, instant karma as we call it. If that happens, we should think that we are very lucky, because that got crossed out in the uh, books of the Lord, uh, Chitraketu and others. So I heard a lot of things around this. So maybe I'll share a pastime in this context. Uh, so one time, Jaydev Goswami, and I am sure all of you have heard this, but there is no harm in repeating the pastimes. Uh, so Jaydev Goswami, he was narrating, he was compiling a poem. So as a writer's block, sometimes people get stuck. So they don't. He was also getting stuck. He was not able to move forward. But he was writing something, and then he thought, okay, I'm not able to move forward, and this afternoon, so let me go out, take a bath. The way we do, right? When we are stuck or something is not moving, then we say, okay, let's take a walk, maybe just go for a stroll or do something else, give your mind some break, and then come back a little bit more refreshed, rejuvenated. So he also said, okay, and that was the kind of rejuvenation they used to have in those times. So he said, I will go for a bath and then come back. So he went for a bath and then he came back, and then he ate whatever his wife had cooked, and then he started compiling, and he finished the poem, or the verse, the complete collection of shlokas. After some time, Jayadev Goswami, he again came home and he asked his wife, okay, where is my food? He said, I just gave you. You ate food and then you were doing something here. He said, no, I was at the bath. I was taking bath. for a little longer because I needed a break. So I was taking bath all this time. Now I came. So he went there to his desk. He saw that the compilation was also complete, and he was saying he did not do it. Then he realized that it was Krishna who came in his form, completed the compilation, gave darshan to his wife, and then went back. So he was feeling very unfortunate. Oh, why did I miss that opportunity? And he was telling his wife, "You are so lucky that you were able to do darshan of the Lord, though you did not recognize him. But he came here, he took darshan, and then he completed." That shloka was the Dashavatar shloka that Jayadev Goswami was compiling, all the 10 avatars of the Lord. So, so that is one of the ways in which the Lord operates. So many, so many different ways in which he operates. There was this instance also of this particular thing that Srila Prabhupada is talking about, right? This particular verse, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended these 5 items of devotional service. Now, all these 5 items, anyone is potent enough to engage us into the service of the Lord. Anyone. And here he's saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying, beginning of devotional service is to spare some time and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source. So spare some time. What I was in some of the lectures that I was hearing, uh, uh, there is not a lot of people say, right, bhakti is a when bhakti comes in, then comes jnana and vairagya, which is knowledge and renunciation. And sometimes what we think is, you have to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of renunciation for bhakti to start. That is not the case. Bhakti can start even with a little bit of reading about the Lord, little bit of knowledge, and a little bit of renunciation. And then the rest can come as bhakti progresses. So, in this context, again, another pastime on this, where he spoke of this verse, these 5. This is Atmaram verse. Uh, so, Lord Chaitanya, he was discussing with Shambham Bhattacharya. This is the same pastime where he heard from Sharbham Bhattacharya when Bhattacharya was a impersonalist for many days, and then he gave 61 different meanings of the verse. So this was that pastime, and then he explained all that 61 different meanings. So when he was with Sanatan Goswami, so Sanatan Goswami asked him, that Prabhu Maharaj, uh, that I heard this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I heard this from people that for one verse you gave 61 meanings. Can you speak about them a bit? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he laughed. He said, I don't remember all of them, but let me try. And then he spoke all the 61 different meanings to to Sanatan Goswami. Uh, so that is the Atmaram verse. So important. It has been this activity has happened around this verse 2 times, and um, such glorious pastimes around this. Um, we are doing some reading of Bhagavatam, and I am not very regular, uh, at least in this forum. But any of these is good enough, which takes us closer to the Lord. Ability to chant very nicely, serving the devotees, staying in a holy place, reading Bhagavatam, one of the most potent one of the most. All of them are equally potent. Serving the deities, uh, anyone. I mean, if we want, and again, this is the Falshruti, right? So, if we want to move forward in bhakti, any one of these 5, whatever interests us, or if we are able to do more, fantastic. Should be good enough as long as we move more seriously towards it. So, with this, we have 5 minutes. Anyone wants to share anything, uh, we can go, and then we'll close it at 8 o'clock. working day, so many people would have different engagements. So any thoughts, anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru.
All
Prabhuji,
glories.
wonderful class. I just want one thing, Prabhuji, like you refer to the Atmarama verse. Can you just remind what verse that is?
So I'll give you the reference. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, where he talks of all these five different five different methods, right? This is the one. But I'll give you the reference, Prabhu. I heard it in a class. I'll get you the reference.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Any thoughts? Anyone else want to share something? Anything that hits you from this chapter? Okay. So, so since there's no discussion so
Oh,
far.
sorry. I was talking. I was just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
First canto, 7th chapter, 10th verse, Prabhu. That Atmarama verse.
Okay.
Can you repeat it, Prabhuji?
1, 7, 10.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. So if there's nothing, then probably we'll close the class.
I mean that past time of Jaydev Goswami. I remember that. I think Krishna personally comes and helps, right? So I think that in that
Yeah.
Yogakshema Vaham Aham. So how Krishna personally comes. So he shows.
No, fantastic
The
reference, Prabhu.
Palastuti, I think you mentioned about. I was always wonders why. I mean, a lot of places, right? In the Bhagavatam also it talks about material benefits, but yeah, it's. I mean, those are the side effects or side benefits, other than the transcendental benefits that comes.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, and we heard in many places, right? We hear that even if somebody wants material benefits, they should still go to Krishna,
Yes.
ask for it, because I mean, even if it is material benefit, if it comes from the right source, it has its own potency.
Prabhuji, you just mentioned, Yogakshemam Mahamyaham. I'm just wondering, current events, Bangladesh, all the, Hindu temples are being attacked. Hindus are being attacked. Out of so many, there are actually millions of Hindus there. Isn't there at least one bhakta for whom Krishna should, can come down and help the situation?
Yeah.
Or is it like the Bhagavad Gita words where out of millions and millions, there's only one?
I don't think so, Prabhu. I think it's for you and me kind of people also, I guess. I mean, of course, it's not like personally comes for. I mean, it doesn't need to come personal. But I was just thinking, right? I mean, even in the case of Pandavas, right? I mean, he's next to them. He's standing next to them, but they were going through all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I was just remembering the Bhishma Dev's Bhishma Dev's article. I mean, the statements, right? When these people, when Krishna and Yudhishthira Maharaj all goes to when he was on the bed of arrows. So you was suffered. I mean, when the personality of religion next to you and Brahmanas are on your side, religion is on your side. I mean, right? Dharma. I mean, everybody is on the Yudhishthira Maharaj side, but still they went through so many things, right? So, I mean, yeah, then he says that I can't explain anything other than time factor. I mean, of course, of course, Lord is arranging to showcase those things. But yeah, specific scenarios, I'm not sure, Prabhu. I don't want to comment on that. But yeah, thinking from that larger context perspective, right? I'm just thinking that way, Prabhu. I know it's not easy when we go through those challenges, or when somebody whom we are seeing going through those challenges, it is very difficult. I mean, take philosophy into that, right? I mean, it's like, I mean,
Prabhuji.
but yeah, I don't want to say Krishna is not.
No.
What he is arranging, we don't know, right? So
I think you understand what I'm asking. I'm not challenging him, but what he's doing is at least not visible to me from here. That's what I mean. So anyway, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, and it's the same thing that Ramapal Maharaj also was talking in, not exactly in those many words, but then why bad things happen to good people or people who are doing good things as per our understanding. I think Prabhu said it very nicely, and we have to go through whatever, and then there is collective karma too. We are in this kind of an environment where there is so much of animal killing and all this happening. Though we are not directly involved, but we are here. There is some collective karma of that too coming onto everyone else. I mean, we are here, we are not stopping it, right? So whether we are not directly participating, but then there is something which is coming onto us also. So yeah, I mean, we have to go through whatever is there, whatever Krishna throws. Okay, so we will close the class today. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।